Good morning, everybody. We all have challenges set in front of us in our day-to-day working lives. I think one of the challenges that Les had was he's given us 15 minutes to talk, and anybody that knows me finds that that's a difficult challenge for me to accomplish. So, moving on, basically, step change. What is step change? I don't know how many of you have heard about the G12, or it's now the G18. Basically, step change is a group of MDs and CEOs of the oil and gas industry based in Aberdeen. The team lead, as we already know, Les Linklater, he decided that there was a challenge to bring fresh blood to the table, and so safety reps were invited to join the step change leadership team, which is where we are today. One of the reasons why I believe this was asked of the safety reps is to bring from the coalface a realism to the board of what it is that's going on offshore and its effect on safety. It wasn't a kind of an afterthought, you know, let's just bring some guys in to shine some seats. It was more a case of, let's actually listen to see what's going on out there, rather than look at bits of paper, publications, stats, these kind of things. And so with that, we were able to come to the table and ask these senior members of the industry questions that normally wouldn't have been asked. And we find that they embraced us, and so with that, we've actually moved forward to where we are today. The G12 is now known as, what used to be the G12 is now G18. They've actually invited more members, more safety reps to join this group. So with that, that was just a small history of where we started from a few years ago to where we are today. I'll now hand over to Bob, who will give you his perception on what he thought was step change.
Cheers, Terry. Just give a wee rundown of what I thought a step change before I came a safety rep, and that was long before I was given the opportunity to join the leadership team. I'd heard the step change by their name being quoted, mostly by the oil companies and the companies I worked for, and it was more in a way they would say, well, look, step change are doing this, so it's a good thing, it must be good, because we're using that to justify what we're saying. And my thoughts at the time was it was to some kind of safety group that were there to make up new ideas in safety for the oil industry. Once I took the decision to become a safety rep and did start to find out more about step change, to me and a lot of the guys who worked with and other safety reps would still just seen the name, seen the logo, and I was still under the impression that it was just an oil company, a new name for safety in the oil industry, which it is like, but the first step change event I went to was the human factors thing. I think it was the first one they had in Aberdeen. I mean, that was interesting, and it did sort of open my mind to new things, that if you're doing the same job over and over again, one day you're more than competent at doing this, but one day for some reason you just do it wrong, and this could easily spiral out of control. And that's the thing we've got to concentrate on, is keeping what we know and doing what we know safely. The next one I went was the hydrocarbon release prevention, which was here in the conference centre, which had a huge turnout. And I think that was the first time I asked a question with a microphone and got stuck on us now. And that was about the relation to competency causing most of the hydrocarbon leaks, in which Les answered from then, and was where they were putting in place the thing with everybody that makes and breaks joints, getting trained and retrained on all the correct procedures. The one that sunk in with me most was the first workforce involvement group thing I went to at West Hills. And that's where it sank in with me that step change, it wasn't just another industry idea, but it was a group with the sole purpose improving the safety for all the guys and girls working offshore. And it was made up of the oil companies, obviously, but the HSE, the unions and the safety reps all had a big say in this. And that's where I was at that time, and I thought, well, good, and I wanted to be part of this.
Okay, just leading on from where Bob's left off. What do the safety reps do as part of the G18? Why are we here? Are we here shining seats? Are we here to make up numbers? Some of you as safety reps may have heard of us. Some of you may have even contributed to the work that we're doing. But ultimately, we're only as good as the results. And I think that's what shows the commitment and the challenges that we meet and we contribute and that we succeed in. We support the steering groups. Les mentioned it earlier, one of them being the helicopter safety steering group. And as you can appreciate, I'm one of the members on that team, and we have been extremely busy this year for obvious reasons. But it's equally good that a safety rep is actually sat on that board to represent us, because at the end of the day, a lot of people say that the reason that we go in the helicopters is because our companies say that if you don't get paid, and that's our livelihood. Well, that's not the case. The case is that the industry's looked at it in such a way that we have a voice, me being one of them, although it doesn't have to be me. Any safety rep in this room, any of the steering groups would be welcomed for you to come forward and ask about being part of that group. Again, we've got then a voice from the workforce, from the coalface, and it's not perceived as a person in a suit and a tie saying you will do this and you have to do that. And I think this is where step change fundamentally is its bread and butter, is the fact that it doesn't just take on what it thinks is right, what industry says, what we're going to do. It's a case of what's safest, what's best, and what are the people at the coalface saying. So it's a big step forward. And as I said, you guys sat here, it could be part of that. It's kind of distressing that there's so many people that work offshore in Aberdeen, regardless of safety reps. Even the workforce itself, we're talking, a few thousand people. Out of them, constituencies are supported by you guys. But really, this room should be twice as full than it is today. So obviously, the message isn't getting out there. So we collectively can maybe make that change. Again, a challenge that we should take away with us. Also, the Step Change leadership team has said how it respects and listens to what we're saying, because initially there was the G12. G stood for group, and the 12 were the 12 safety reps that sat on the board, or sat on a group, which was part of the team. They've now extended that to 16, and then they extended it by another 2 to 18. So where we are today, God bless Steve, we're actually 17, so there is a vacant space. But again, this is how much they value where we are and where we're going, the fact that they've extended it. So they are taking on board the value that we have. And you guys can be part of this tomorrow, because obviously we're not going to be here forever. When we step down, there's obviously a place that needs to be filled. And I'd like to think that there's a queue at the door banging to be part of that group. So what step change? What is step change? We've already said. What have we done? We haven't actually touched on that. Les has said some of the stuff with the joined up thinking, but some of the things that we're not aware of, safety reps. I done a refresher course for safety reps, and I found it was a complete waste of time, it was a waste of money, and I got nothing out of it. So some safety reps got together with Step Change, with a PTO. We challenged what it is that we're having, and we've said this isn't good enough. This is what industry says they think we need, and we said no, what we want is A, B and C. So we took that away, and a group of us with the groups mentioned, got together, sat down, and we have now today got 4 training modules in place at all 4 of them are 2-day events. But it's been built up not by the industry, it's been built up by people like you and me and other safety reps and people offshore who have an interest in safety and the training that we gain. So instrumentally, Step Change has had a huge involvement in this, and also the support it's given me and my peers. I hate old age, I can't see a bloody thing. Another thing is the Piper Alpha. The reason I wore this shirt is it's not just a one-day event. Piper Alpha, although it happened a quarter of a century ago, it's still here today. It still presents itself on a daily basis. And if we don't challenge safety, if we don't look at joined-up thinking, if we don't pull together, then, you know, we could have another Piper Alpha. So I think for me here, being here today, representing you guys and the people that can't be here, it says an awful lot of how far we've come and what Step Change is about, what the industry is doing, and what the CEOs and the MDs of your companies, my company, and the oil company as a whole is taken forward and, you know, challenging where we are, what we're doing, and basically the road that we're taking is the same route. At the end of the day, we all want to go home safely and we want to return to work safely. And to achieve these, we need each other. We need Step Change. We need a PTO. We need training providers. So basically, I'm going to say that these are the challenges, and this is part of what we all are here to achieve, not just a name on a board or, you know, a badge. So before I go, what I would like to add is, I said about the G18 being G17. That's because of our late departed friend Steve. There's a few people in here that do know Steve intimately well, and there's some of you that may have heard of him. To be quite honest, this room is not big enough to house Steve. So to fill that void is going to be extremely difficult, if not impossible, because he was such a compassionate and thoughtful and caring man. However, if there's one of you guys that think that you could even fill one of his shoes, you know, please do so. Be vocal and be part of the team. I'll now hand you over to Bob, and thank you for paying attention. I'll be asking questions later.
Cheers. So, in my opinion, what can we all do as safety reps by playing our part in Step Change and using the workplace involvement, joined-up thinking, etc. It's not only the attention of the oil companies we work for, but we Step Change also have the attention of the HSE, the unions, the helicopters, the helicopter manufacturers, every oil company in the industry. And trust me when I say this, that when we go to the leadership team meetings and all the oil companies are represented, the HSE are there, the unions are there, the safety reps there. We don't actually sit back and let them dictate and have it all their own way. And that's what we're there for, and that's what your MDs and CEOs that are present to the meetings, that's what they want. Everybody present at these things want us all to improve on safety. I mean, we need joined up thinking on safety. And all the leaders of the industry know that, and they know that bad safety is bad for business, and if you've got a poor safety record, they'll not be in business much longer. So there is the need to improve, and they want to improve. And with the help of the Step Change team, and we'd like to thank Les, Emily, Emma and Gillian for helping with, because they do a lot of work and they're always got time for to help with whenever we've got any issues or questions. We have had with problems this year on the safety reps, on the leadership team, because there was quite a few of the guys that had been there for a long time, had left, changed jobs, moved on. So we're trying to reorganise ourselves. And now with the extra members, we were up to 18, and we were given the name of the gate team. which was thanks to Emma and Emily sitting over there. It's a nice liberating name for her. But we now had the perfect opportunity to involve much more of the oil and gas industry. Step change is regarded, like you've heard say, by the rest of the world as a great example on how to inform, involve and engage the workforce and continually move forward in safety. We, as workers and safety reps offshore in all parts of the oil and gas industry, we could sign up to Step Change on the website. It's very simple. You could follow them on Twitter, go on to Facebook, do it, because you'll find out more information and what the industry is doing on safety, which you could then go and share with your workmates and constituents. The Step Change team, they're always trying to keep the information up to date and advertising the forthcoming events, which as reps you could go and you learn so much more. I mean, the recent workforce involvement meeting in Norwich was a great example how we're now spreading out through the industry, and we should be going to all over the place to learn from people in different areas, because we go outside the bubble at Aberdeen, and we should also be learning from other industries, because there's a lot we could still learn from people all over the place. We, as the safety reps, we've all took our step to play our part in safety, and we all know the best way to improve safety is to work together as an industry. We've got this opportunity here now. We have, like, the joined up thinking on safety by us all getting together through Step Change. We've got this avenue right now to learn and share for each other. I mean, we need Step Change. The industry needs Step Change. The unions need it. The HSE need it. The helicopter companies, all the manufacturers, they all need Step Change. To have this group and to get together and drive the safety of the industry forward, I believe the only way to make it the safest place in the world to work is by working together, highlighting the concerns of the workforce through Step Change to the whole industry. We must continue to drive safety forward, and together that's the way we can all improve things. Thanks.